Hello, good afternoon everyone. Just check we're live. Fantastic. Let me just share this with our little Discord server. And I'll get the chat up shortly and we'll be attacking what we usually do. Fixing bugs and trying not to break everything. Hope everyone's having a great day. So yeah, let me just get up chat and we can dive right into it. So I wasn't here yesterday. I had to go somewhere and do something else. Hi user, how you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Glad to see you, my man. So yesterday I had to do something and I didn't get around to do much. So we're basically continuing off where we left off 2 days ago. So you haven't missed anything. There's a couple of things that I'm kind of struggling with right now. I know it seems funny to say this, I guess. But the engine feels broken in ways I can't put my finger on why. What I mean by that is when I added Q wait idle, which obviously you don't want to do really. This, for those who don't know, this will, in my case at least, on my graphics card, on my 4070 GTX NVIDIA graphics card, this slows everything down by 0.23 milliseconds, which is about as long as it takes to do, let's say, calculate all the shadows in a shadow pass, I don't know, something like that. So it's quite expensive to do this. It's actually, it lowers the frame rate quite a lot, but the reason I put it back in was not because it's needed, it's because my frame stabilizes, and it would be good if I actually had anything to render. So let me just put that back. And if not, I will git stash so we can get back to where we were. Let me just check the shaders for a minute. Okay, yeah, and this is the other thing we're going to try and do today. It's the buffer device addresses that aren't working. And I'm not sure why. The thing is with the buffer device addresses, someone who is an experienced graphics programmer doesn't have to pad his buffer device addresses like I do. For some reason these only work if they're 32 byte aligned, which doesn't make any sense because that's not really how buffer device addresses work as far as I am aware. So this is the problem I'm having. I'm having this problem where I add something new to a shader and it breaks. And it breaks in a strange way where I've tried to add another buffer device address, which is completely valid. It's not like you're limited to 2. This one here. I've put 1 in front of everything so I don't end up calling it the same name. And things just don't render. Not exactly sure why. It doesn't matter what shader it is as well. I'm not entirely sure if I need to put... here's the other thing I might be doing wrong. So I have 3 graphics pipelines at the moment. I'm not sure if I need to put pipelines between them all. Memory or execution pipelines. So if I have a draw call, do I need to allow it to wait before the other draw call? I don't know. So, and the whole impetus of this was actually because I want to be able to separate out some data in the debug renderer, and it just didn't work, right? So the problem with this buffer device address as it is right now is everything's in it, and that's convenient, but I'm updating something like the view projection and global scale. Yes, I'm back. How you doing, Dietry? So these don't need to be updated every draw call. This does. The model needs to be updated every draw call, I think. And these need to be updated every position. Every draw call, I think. I'll have to re-puzzle through this. So this is what's the this is the idea of trying to pull out some stuff from this particular buffer device address, and yeah, it just doesn't work. In a strange way, it's like without the what is it called? This QA idle, you see more graphics corruption. If you have this in, it kind of like settles down. Like the graphics corruption is basically non-existent. So this is the issue right now, right? I have a shader. I want to edit the shader. I edit the shader. Everything breaks, and I don't know why. So we're going to investigate if it's the buffers. I have been taking extensive notes on Vulkan synchronization. In fact, I've gotten completely bored to death of writing new Vulkan synchronization. They're all new, and I've been updating them. I've said this like I think 2 streams ago, but I've been updating them as I've been understanding more. There are articles that I'm trying to read, not this one in particular, but this one that just goes on and 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 on. So I still haven't cracked what's going on, and so I need to I need to kick my own ass effectively and figure out a way to get this to work. Something is broken fundamentally with this engine, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's synchronization. I don't know if it's how I'm using the shaders. I don't know if it's read-write access. I don't know what hazard is happening, but it's breaking in a way that the validation layers aren't picking up, and it's difficult to track down because everything doesn't work. I can add descriptors, that breaks. If I can add a normal descriptor, everything breaks down, and I don't understand that either. It's very fragile. As soon as I add something, breaks. Yeah. Hi, Kalia. How you doing, dude? So this is what we're puzzling with today. It's obviously the wider issue is just skill issue, rip bozo, but I don't know how to get to that. How to solve. I don't even know what I need to learn at this point to figure out what's going on. So hopefully in this stream we'll investigate basically the more likely causes and write down stuff that I need to investigate further, I think, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a bit of an exploration stream where we tried a few different things. There's no like specific thing I need to fix. Obviously the end goal is to get to a point, if I no, I didn't have it, where the graphics in GPU ends, let me get it up, Insight interacts with the physics engine as little as possible, and whoops, I meant to run that as administrator. There we go. You know what I should do as well, just while I'm here updating getting things open, I noticed that my graphics driver was out of date. Actually, let's not do that while I'm streaming. No, we won't do that, because the graphics driver crashes. Well, it shuts down. And I don't know what OBS is going to do if we end up doing that. So yeah, I'll do that after stream. Just I have no idea what would the streaming software do if the graphics driver just turned off. So yeah, let's get things rendering again, because I can fix that at least. And maybe I'll show you guys, it does help me. Hopefully you don't mind me talking so much, but it does help me actually to talk through the problem. Because it gives me like ideas of what to fix and stuff like that. So, you know, if you're up for it, I will fix what's broken. Well, I'll get things rendering at least, and I'll show you the difference between adding the QA idle and the non-QA idle, which is actually quite a big difference. So, in my render loop. Okay, that should be the core renderer, the thing with the rocks and stuff. Yeah, okay. Now we just need the debug renderer to come back. And that took in this. It took in the... So this is a bit of a convoluted version. Global matrix. Now obviously this is just position, but if we take the view projection and throw that in here, we might even decompile the shaders today and just have a look at what's actually going on. I don't actually know that much about what I know a little bit of what the decompiled shaders should look like, but nothing that detailed. It's all a bit vague. And that should be the spheres. If the stream won't talk, yeah, who will? Yeah, finding the mystery stuff. That's a good point, that. So, okay, let me show you the difference. So, I'm going to have to kind of move around the scene for a bit, and probably best to go full screen for this because it's actually quite useful to see more. So what I want you to notice is that when I move backwards and forwards, but the spheres and the rocks, especially these seams here, they stay still. And what also I want you to look for is some of these spheres will flash when the so like it may be this one or something. So when we got the I'll zoom over when we have them. So that this is what like a stable scene looks like with the QA idle in it. So obviously this suggests synchronization is not done properly. But yeah, this is just like what a well-behaved scene should look like. So let's just close that. And let's bring this back in. It's a subtle difference. This is why I haven't actually attacked it yet. I removed it thinking it's fixed and stuff. So it's going to run faster. So our camera's going to move a bit faster. But it looks similar, right? Oh, you see a bit of red. Now, hopefully that's not too bad on your eyes. This is like a new thing that's happened. Probably not worth. Okay, it's got way worse. So let's make it smaller so you don't end up getting. Okay, that's way worse. Okay, so this is obviously corruption, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is I haven't actually seen it this bad, so this is actually a really good example of what I'm talking about, where everything looks fine. It's the same code, but all we have is a QA idle, and everything kind of stabilizes. So there's a couple of things I'm going to investigate. The first thing I probably want to look over is just my, again, memory barriers. They're all kind of bored of this, but if you're bored of this, I'm also bored of this. So I think what I need to do for this particular, no, for the destination, let me get the destination queue up. I think what I did, and like when I pushed this code last, I know I did actually left. I was going to say I removed one of these, but I didn't. So this is the before everything runs. Here's something about I don't quite know how to reconcile yet as well. Semaphores, right? Memory transfer happens. It's made available and visible when a semaphore is signaled and sorry, it's made. Let me look at my notes. So this is like a new thing, so I didn't quite know this. So when a semaphore is signaled, what ends up happening? It goes. Does it go visible? Does the memory go visible or available? I've forgotten. Well, so when a signal, it goes available, so that means it goes to L2, so it gets flushed. And when you wait on a semaphore based on the destination, it becomes visible. As far as I can tell, I think that's what my notes are telling me. Yeah. And because of that, the memory barriers that the part of the job of the memory barrier and it doesn't matter if you use execution pipeline barriers or memory barriers. Their main job, as far as I can tell, for both types is to transfer memory from one layout to another. Now, what I'm confused about is what's the point of the memory barriers when we have semaphores? Because when we go for a queue submit, we're ending like a batch, right? I don't exactly know the role of the semaphores with transitioning memory plus the memory barriers that we've added. That is a bit foggy to me. I don't actually know. Hi, I'm Abdu. Yeah. Porygon. Yeah, we have also Porygons. Barriers are now and semaphores are when. Ah, okay. That's a really good... So I know semaphores are going to sync up groups of work. But let me think about what you just said. See if I can puzzle that together a bit with all my existing knowledge that I already have. Or challenge stuff that doesn't exist, that I might. So it's a group of work. Let me look at my semaphore notes. What is a semaphore is where it is. What are semaphores? So they do different queues. But I think they can do like groups of queues, right? Or is that just not like groups of commands? Or am I messing that up? Is it just queues, actual queues like this, right? Like if we have, I don't know, VK concurrent, what is it called? Shared concurrent, whatever the shared version of this is. It actually just might be strictly synchronizing the queues beginning and end points. Anyway, so I think that's probably where I'm getting a bit confused there, because we do have two different queues. Sorry, we have one queue, but it's used in two different contexts, and maybe that's what we're trying to sync up. But anyway, I still haven't quite parsed together basically the whole synchronization thing. I think so. I think that's right, Mandu. I think, well, barriers are for commands in queues. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a finer grained version of a semaphore. But I think the group of work might be just what's in the queue. Because I've read that a lot. A group of work. And a group of work might not just be like a small set of commands. It might actually be the whole queue. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a... This is what the stream's going to be like if everyone's up for it. But because I'm a bit like, why are things breaking in a very strange way? It's such a strange... Like, I can get rid of this even, and then, like, I think it would be even better. Like, the more stuff I add to, like, the shaders, the less stable they get. And the more stuff I add to... I don't know. I think the... Considering it's so bad, what I might do is throw up render doc, like, immediately and just see if I can capture a frame where we get, like, bad that flashing, because it's hard to catch. You need to click collect frame at the right time, otherwise everything looks like it works. So I'm gonna try that just to see what our baseline is effectively, if we can see like what the errors look like without that queue wait idle, because it's definitely something to do with the actual the actual synchronization, right? Because queue wait idle is a hard synchronization barrier. Everything gets stable. So the actual synchronization I've set up doesn't work. So we at least know that. Let's change the release. And let's just check that I've got rid of that queue wait. Yeah, I have. Okay. So we're going to be more like semaphores are for the GPU and fences are for the CPU. But there's very subtle differences. Alright, I shouldn't be flashing that on screen. Or doing it as little as possible, at least. So let me say that. Let me think about that again. So semaphore, yes. I understand that they're it's meant to order things in a queue, which means that it's ordering work on the GPU, right? And the fences basically do the same work, but they're waiting for the device to return after a particular set of work is done. So basically when the queue doesn't quite go idle but has no work to do. And then the host and the GPU sync up. If that's the case, it's like, okay, if I at the beginning of the scene, if I'm transitioning memory based on a pipeline barrier that's a memory barrier, what is the point if at the beginning of the queue I'm also doing a wait semaphore? Sorry, I'm at the beginning of wrong. I'm at the beginning of the basic render loop. I'm waiting on a fence. Hasn't the memory transitioned at that point? The only reason I'm doing this is honestly to take a quiet image from the GPU and transition it to something that we can actually draw to, so it's color optimal from undefined. So that's actually the point of the pipeline barrier. So maybe that's not the one I'm concerned about, to be honest. The beginning one makes a bit more sense. The one before the presentation doesn't make any sense because we're waiting here. Right, let me show you. So, okay, I've talked myself through that, and I believe the one here that operates at this point once we acquire the image is legit. Like, we need that. This is the one I don't understand. So I think that hopefully this will be getting clearer as I talk more. But yeah, please keep asking questions and giving me help and stuff and stuff like that. So it does help. So this is I just want to explain this, and I'll read your excellent inputs, but everyone. So this is the barrier I do not understand. So we have a semaphore basically, and we have a wait and signal set up here between these two queues. Why are we doing a second memory barrier to transition the memory from color optimal to presentation if at this point we're going to be waiting on this where is it? Where's the wait semaphore? Here, right? So that when we do the presentation, we do basically a memory barrier with that semaphore, and we transition that memory to whatever it needs to be. But we also do a memory barrier transition here before that point. It just feels like I've got like a memory barrier that does something that's like the semaphore's already going to do here. So I guess just before I read the chat, I can comment this out and just see what breaks. Oh, I'm in release. This is not going to go well. Okay, so that didn't tell us anything because we're in release with comments. So let's if I boot up render doc, and then I'll read the chat because I saw some comments. So yeah, it's honestly it's a bit overwhelming, to be honest. Like I've been a bit overwhelmed by all this recently. Anyway, so how many queues do you have to set up? Do I have set up? Sorry. I have one. Nothing else. Semaphores are for all synchronization. So Ratchet said. This message is brought to you by Timeline Semaphores. True, I should have specified binary semaphores. Yes, I'm talking about binary semaphores, admittedly, not anything else. I think when compute writes, this is controlled by memory barrier, graphics weights, compute is semaphore. And CPU went. Yes, CPU waits on the fence. Let me pass through what you're trying to say. I think when compute writes buffers, this, yes. So when the graphics card writes out to a buffer, there has to be some kind of memory barrier if you want to transition it to be coherent effectively. Yeah, and the graphics, yeah, okay, so, okay, I think I get that. If you have one queue, is there need for semaphores? Yes, you need semaphores to balance the presentation versus the submission. If commands need to run in order, then yes. And you were saying that, true. You need them to communicate with the presentation engine too. Yes, that's the point of the semaphore. Yeah, and you want them to run in order. Got you. That's what you're saying about yes. So yeah, that's why you want semaphores. It orders the actual queue in general. I think it doesn't actually order just a group of work. The group of work is what's submitted to the queue in one go. So my group of work, as far as I can tell, is basically everything inside this loop, right? Everything that's just recorded. All the action commands, which means anything that's like actually going to do something on a GPU. Like, well, that's actually do something on a GPU. That's very vague, and it also includes other things. But basically anything that's to do with graphics and transfers and stuff like that. Technically, binding is not an action command, so it's not affected by... I wonder if I could say an action command is something that writes to memory and reads from memory. Whereas a state command just changes the state, which I don't think does that. Okay, so let's... I don't know if what I said is completely accurate, but anyway. Let's load settings and launch this, and hopefully it's not too... I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a crapshoot, so... Did I get it? Oh no. What do I need to press? Oh, capture frame. Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna have to... Unfortunate, but... Unfortunately, it's also possible that RenderDoc is gonna like synchronize everything, and it's not gonna be not gonna get anything. So I can't tell if it's actually still doing anything. So I'm gonna... not that. This what I want. Hopefully that's not too harsh. So I can delete all these. I just want a frame with it all going crazy. But it's... Alright, let's see. Nope. All good. Let's delete these as well. Let's get another batch. Nope. It might be true that we're missing it every single time, but it's also possible that this capturing is not getting it. I'll still look at one of these frames if I can't get it. But yeah, if we just keep trying, just over and over again for a bit. You think RenderTalk is... I just want to make sure that no one's getting like sick with the flashing or anything. Because I know it can be quite off-putting when something's strobing. So I think the small, if it's small, it's not too bad. All right, I think we would have got one by now. So I'm just going to investigate the next lot. And if I don't get it, I'm just going to click on one. Okay, so delete them. And gonna close this. And yeah, I didn't think we got anything, but let's just see. Play loop. Let's have a look. No problems detected. That's a big lie. Yeah, maybe let's just check if everything. You know what? I think I've realized something. It's nothing. It's just me not updating the shaders. I haven't updated the shader. I always do this mistake. I think it might be worthwhile at this point to actually do the work that's required to copy over stuff to every single release once built. It will slow things down though, which is... Nope, I've copied everything. My bad. Let me just try that again. And go shaders. Actually copy the thing we need. Release. Okay, and... click the wrong thing. Sorry about that. Let's try it one more time. We got this. Release. Assets. Paste. Replace. Not skip. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So that was, let's try one more time. I think launch you. Oops, no, not interested. Okay, let's shrink this down quick. And I'll do this as well just to see if I get another one. I wish it would get one bad frame, but I guess not. Oh well. Okay, so let's capture that. Clear, don't care. Is that accurate? Anyway, so it's clearly this renderer that's particularly bad. Sorry, this section. Do you have a capture setting? You could do a capture frame. Sorry, you could do capture specific frames like. Oh, really? I did not know you could do that. That's let's give that a shot. Actually, I think it's on the settings. You probably saw it, and I've just been ignoring it. Maybe you go blind to something. All right, let's ignore that for a minute. Oh yeah. Let's see, 100? Capture specific frame. Ooh. I want to capture 100 frames, but it's telling me just frame. I guess I'm too far in the past. Jeez. Let's capture frame 30. No, that's just... It's not quite right. Let's see, maybe... I don't know. Nope, after 1 second. Nope. Ah, there we go. Huh. There we go. That makes that's doable. Let's do that a bit more. So I can capture 10 frames in a row. But I have it. Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that we're just gonna get the same images. But this is better. This is exactly what I would need to do. Yeah, considering how often it happens, you would assume that I'm gonna get one. I wonder if it's the presentation. No, I don't know. It's pop. Let me think. I can't imagine that's it. All right, let's just close that for a minute. Just get this one. Yeah, leave that. We want to mesh viewer. So this one's particularly bad. So there should be if one of these are bad, you know, based on this draw call of index counts. Let me just look through everything. One thing I'm unsure about is, this is just like completely out of left field, is how I'm doing push constances. I don't know if you can push a different constant, sorry, the same push constants with different values to a different pipeline and expect good results. This is something I'm not entirely sure works. Because I was thinking, well, maybe because of this is the confusing part for me anyway. I mean, I could be completely fine with this, but just look at my notes wherever push constants lives. So push constants lifetime, right? You can bind different pipelines or do different draw calls in those pipelines and use different values. And it looks like you can add a push constant and bind at any point. So the problem is, if I have two layouts and two different pipelines, yet you can basically put this layout in what looks like mostly so you can't do it before, you can't do that. So this is the invalid one. Valid. Let's just see if I'm making, I wonder if I'm doing an invalid thing. Push constants. You bind the pipeline. So when this is invalid. I thought any order was fine. I didn't even read this. So a push constant is defined by the pipeline layout, so it makes sense. So this makes sense. Oh, yeah, okay, so it's actually defined by the pipeline layout, of course. And that goes in the graphics pipeline. But strangely, every example here is above the graphics pipeline. I'm assuming that you're allowed to bind a graphics pipeline, put the thing in. But if I have two graphics pipelines that have the same command buffer, and all they do is change the data, is that allowed? Can the shaders tell them apart? Like when I do this, based on the pipeline layout, if it's the same one from a different graphics pipeline. If the layouts are compatible, Yeah. any version of AI is not very smart. But really, that's too much to think about it, so I just push it away. For me, I'm kind of confused, basically. Unless you guys know... I don't... This is something I need to basically research. Let me just say yes to this. I have the same graphics pipe... sorry, I have the same push constants in 2 different places. In the 2 different shaders. And these are bound to 2 different pipe... So this and this... They're from 2 different graphics pipelines. And so when I run this at... when I run this in draw time... when I actually do the push constant push... I'm not entirely sure what's supposed to happen. Because the only thing that's different is the data that I've assigned the values. And it just seems like if I've got 2 different graphics pipelines that have the same push constants, and those same push constants get pushed at at the same point twice. So let me show you what I mean. So I have a push constants command here, and I have a push constants command lower down actually. Here, so I have 2 different push constances for 2 different graphics pipelines. Yet they share the same layout because they're very well. They're not literally the same layout. There are different objects, if that makes sense, when they send up the graphics pipeline. But the setup exactly the same. They're the same size. They have the same data in. They're on the same shader stage. And when I've not been sure ever since I set this up that you're allowed to do this. You're allowed to do, like, when these are recorded to the command buffer, can Vulkan work out what I'm trying to do? Or am I just doing something dumb? Because, you know, the only thing that's different is literally the actual thing I'm pushing. See, I've not been entirely sure about that. This is... doing a ton of tracking incurs CPU costs doing a ton of tracking incurs CPU cost to avoid a single fast render command. Single fast Vulkan command. Yes. Is this Vulkan 1.0 mentality? Well, the layout you're pushing exists in that pipeline. I think my Windows Defender got in the way. Well, the layouts using... Well, sorry, let me say that again. Well, the layout you're pushing exists in the pipeline. I think that means you're not doing anything wrong. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. I'll accept that for now because I've been tempted to make 2 different push constances on 2 different graphics pipelines just so I made sure that these are separate and there's no, like, Vulkan knows what these commands do effectively, like what it's updating. And in fact, I could probably simplify this considerably. What does it actually need? The pipeline layout. That's a little tricky to track, but anyway. Okay, so if that's fine, then I think we're good. In certain cases, you can avoid a push constant, but it's more work than it's worth. So I push again if I swap pipelines. Oh, you do. Okay. Fine. If you swap pipelines and then push, then I'm probably doing the right thing. I just haven't. This particular thing was a bit confusing. You know, if they're both compatible with layout 0 in this case, and I go push bind, like I always wondered if it was like, was it going to get confused? Was the state going to be updated? Okay, so I think we've ruled that out. Thank you for talking through that and explaining what everyone does, which is great. That just stops me from going down a garden path where I just, you know, don't get anywhere. Okay, so next So what I could do is change the... Right, I need to go back to debug. And turn on all the validation again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the memory barriers to be a little more aggressive. They're going to do top of pipe and bottom of pipe or non/all commands. Instead of just when they actually need to be done. And I just want to see if that like stabilizes things a bit. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, if you just look at the screen for a minute, it's way easier to see. So yeah, it's another dependency and a potential branch. Whoa. Okay, that's not the issue. So that's just telling me I haven't transitioned to memory, which is good. Sorry, I will fix that shortly, and then you'll actually be able to see. So we basically end up getting a load of red flashing, and this is just like a continuous issue that I've been having, where stings aren't rendering properly. So there you go. And so like we've got like subtle errors in this engine. So that's what we're trying to fix. We're trying to stabilize the engine. We're trying to query what is the issue here. Is it it's synchronization, because I can fix this issue with a heavy weight synchronization command right at the beginning of the loop. But why do I need that? That's the question. Why are we trying to we're trying to figure out like people are helping me figure out why that is the case. Exactly, it's not a nice effect at all. That's the thing. So Dietrich has said, yeah, it's another dependency and a potential branch. I agree with Ratchet that it's better just to push a teeny amount of data. Yeah. Yep. So hopefully I'll explain that. Oh no, you push 64 more bytes. Now you're... I'm glad I trivialized I/O is something the GPU or PCIe is good at. Or UME, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying not to show everyone, just because it is obviously not pleasant to look at. But if I do show, I'll try and make it smaller. Anyway, it's a tricky one where I can't really show the problem that much. So new people coming in are going to be like, huh? Yeah. But yeah, thanks for asking about the about what I'm trying to solve. It's important that I, as the person who's streaming, explain well enough so everything's clear. Anyway, so I'm going to change this to bottom of pipe, and that should be fine. I've just got to worry about the access. Bottom of pipe. I'm going to use bottom and top just for now, even though I've been told that none and all are basically the same. Where's the... There it is. Okay. So we come in at this point and it should be in written memory and it needs to be read memory. I'm just gonna do this so it could be both and see where that lands us. One of these, hang on. There is a thing I need to look up in my notes. Just a minute. There is a very specific rule that I need to follow. So I think what I need to do is actually the other way around. If I'm setting bottom of pipe, then there is a none here, I think. think that's what it means. It's completely meaningless if you do that. Nope. Okay. Do you have do you still have the flashing when you reduce the number of asteroids? Oh, okay, yeah, I can try that. Good question. It is all instanced, or are there erroneous ones? Good question. Is this a sync issue or memory leak? So when I'm talking about memory barriers and transitioning memory, that's all happening on the GPU, which is a synchronization thing. So yeah, synchronization. No memory leak as far as I can tell. I mean, that would need to be further profiled. I'd like to drop... I drop it down to 1 and keep increasing until we find the breaking point. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, we'll do that. I need obsidian docks. I kind of start using this, but I don't learn how to use it very well. Yeah, I don't use it in anger on stream, but it's very useful to have. Like, I can very quickly go through what my setup is, but I have indices where it like indexes everything from like top to bottom, and then each note links to other notes, and I can like just click through. And then I have a source note down here, which is where everything's written in one big go. But I'm never going to read this, right? Like, who's going to read this? I'm never going to be like, oh, I'm going to read a random bit of this. So the whole point of breaking everything up into small bits is so it's easier to digest when I want to come back to it. And based on this index, I can come back and re-examine different things that I've learned. So, oh, what's the pipeline stages? That's all I want to care about. Do this. And I just have to read this small bit rather than going to this one that's like super long, etc. Anyway, so yeah, let's do that. Let's break down the problem into smaller chunks. Oh, you do that too. Okay, Obsidian seems to encourage indexing because it gives you a nice, yeah, totally. So you are familiar. Yeah, and what D3 Code's talking about is that it gives you this like central node where you can go back and forwards between. This is just like the source node. This is the index itself. So yeah, I don't have many. I should have more notes. I've been adding synchronization as the synchronization island's getting big. Anyway, yes, let's do what we said. Break down things. Okay, the indexing. How can I break this down like instantly? I feel like I just need to take the. So that's how many instances we have. So this will be in scene. Okay. So let's think about the ones that aren't generated randomly. Total entities, I believe, is exclusively the asteroids and the rest of the docks. Considering we don't get any yellow flashing, I'm going to assume that these are fine. Probably not fine, but they're not causing the issue at least. So we have 4,400 and thingy. Let's go down to 1. Oh, hang on. That's not going to work for a silly reason. So ignore this crash. It's coming up. This needs to be 3 because I need to account for those docks, right? So 2 docks and 1 asteroid. That should work. Okay. Let's see if we get the flashing. Right, I'm just going to give it a sec. And no, I can't see any. So it is the amount. Let me just see if I can see the issues on this sphere. So what I'm looking for is like the asteroid here to be this seam here to be moving in and out where it shouldn't be. Oops. Let's try that again. What's that? That's the slower one. Yeah, that's what I want. Looks pretty good. No, looks pretty stable. Right, okay, let's okay, ignore that. That's just it's trying to delete 4,444 things and there's only 3. Let's increase it by 10, right? Yeah, notes are useful, but it makes it so it takes forever to get through articles, honestly. Like, oh my goodness. That article you sent to me, Ratchet, like, I'm not even at the bottom yet. There's so much more. Oh, and then there's this one that goes on forever. Oh, I don't want to think about how many notes we're going to have to take on this one. Anyway, oh, yeah, okay, so this is one issue, right? This thing. This is something I do not understand what is going on. It's like the depth test is failing. Oh. Is it related to this? Oh. Oh, yeah, so there is flashing. Ah, okay, so it's related to this, but no. I just don't understand why is it doing this? It's like flickering. It's like the sphere disappears for a split second and comes back, but it's so fast that it looks like it's only half of it's disappeared. I do not understand. And then yeah, the flashing is back. Let me close that for now. The new one is very... The new one is in depth. Not too glaze it too much, lol. It's not... Yeah, it's not the only valid way of doing it. Yeah, yeah. I was just letting people know what I do. The new one is very in depth. Oh, this one. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm almost like tempted. This article. I feel like I need to know this at this point because I'm getting stuck on like synchronization. It's doing me head in. You are gaining a deeper understanding by just yes, that's the idea. I'm trying to. Although it's taking a long time and I get a bit overwhelmed by how much knowledge I have to consume. It is good in the sense that I'm able to integrate it with other knowledge effectively. That's my goal with this note-taking technique. You know what I'm going to try, guys? Now we know 13 goes wrong. I wonder if 13 goes wrong because of the physics. So if I just disable physics for a minute, do we get that flashing again? I just want to make sure that the game is updating in a way that makes sense. When it comes to the physics itself. Where's the physics? I think it's higher up. Yeah, it's about. It should be at the beginning of the frame. It's just before we render. Right, I'm just going to disable that for a minute. Okay. Oh, that was weird. What the heck? What the hell's going on with this? Okay, so we still got the bad ones. Okay, it's not physics related. Let me change how I handle depth then. I'm gonna. Can you go through the pipeline step by step? The graphics pipeline? Oh, and you have ADHD. Yeah, it's tough. The idea is to not forget it as well. You consume a lot. No way. No cutaway. Yes. Yeah. I've heard that it's when it comes to learning, it's better to reduce the amount of consumption that you go through when it comes to learning. What's this song? Oh, right, yeah. Okay, so let's investigate this. Okay, so let's break things down. What I'm gonna do is dynamic rendering. I'm just gonna change how I deal with on setup the store operation, which this will be. The store operation is the late fragment test. So how I deal with fragments at that point after the fragment shader pipeline stage. So can you go step by step? Can you go through the pipeline step by step? I don't think it would be that helpful for me personally to go through the entire graphics pipeline creation step by step. So I'm probably gonna avoid that. Maybe maybe that'd be good for another time when I'm a bit less trying to tackle this particular issue. Because I think that'll railroad. That'll I'll end up just making a. I can show you the key parts where the graphics where the push constants is made, but going through the whole graphics pipeline is. Where's the dynamic render? Is a bit. It'll take a while because it's quite a big piece of code. Hopefully that's understandable. So, no, that's not where the begin rendering begins. Ah, this one. So, I do a store and clear. So I'm going to do a store and store for this. So it's the depth that I'm interested in for this. Oops. So I'm just wondering if the... No worries, I was just suggesting to see the flow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. Let's just see how the... If I'm not don't caring the depth. Because I... Oh, no. Which one is flashing? Ooh. Ooh. You see that? Sorry, I'm going to make this a bit smaller so you don't... Okay, now my camera's all screwed up, but you see that? That disc? There. That suggests to me that we're instance rendering slightly too far in the future, if you know what I mean. Like we've instance rendered one step too far and we're accessing data that's broken. The GPU doesn't know what's in the buffer device address, but I've seen this before where you have like a sphere, like a straight circle, not a sphere, when you go too far. So let me see if changing the instance rendering to -1, what we currently have, based on that knowledge, because I don't think it's that important. If we do a -1, it's not like we're going to go +1. And that's also true for the... So we're going to see one less rock. Let's go down to here. So it could be this, what we set up like 4 streams ago now, or 3, I can't remember. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The offsetting could be wrong. We're like reading into data that shouldn't be allowed. Okay, so one's now a duck, but I want to see if the flashing exists. Oh. No, interesting. It's still there. Hopefully this is small enough and it's not horrible. Interesting. Oh, hang on. Am I doing this right? No, it is right. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to subtract 1 from everything and just... I know it seems a bit silly, but I just want to try and remove that from the scene, that flashing one. And just see if it's just that we're extending too far into the buffer device address based on the instance value. And if we just have 1 less on all fronts, does that actually help? So it takes a second. Nope. I see something down here. Yeah, if I move... How interesting is this one? It's flashing as well. Sorry about the flashing as well. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to go back and restore all this. And instead of adding 10, I'm going to add 4. So we're on 13 at the moment. I want to add just 1. Maddo, I can say that I appreciate the way you question things. It's very helpful. In brainstorming context. Like, for real, yeah. I have no idea what I'm asking, just bouncing at it. Literally, yeah, it's... Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of what rubber ducking is. But that's, like, super, super useful. Because it helps me... Because I have to explain, for example, let's just say, I don't know, you say something that's not... that I don't think is going to be useful. I have to now explain why it's not useful. And maybe it is, you know? Or maybe I come to a different conclusion based on what you just said, and it's super useful. So it's like that's the concept of rubber ducking. It is actually useful. Hang on, get rid of this as well. Okay. Started rendering a couple of days. Yeah, started Vulkan a couple of days ago. Love that, dude. Yeah, it's actually quite exciting to see what you're doing. Yeah, keep posting about it in our community. It's motivating for me. For me personally, at least. Because you know, I can easily think, oh, I don't want to do this or whatever. But then I see other people doing it. It's like, oh, why? If they can do it, why can't I do it? Kind of thing. Anyway, so we've got that far. I am going to think about what I'm going to do next, which is go to the scene. And if this doesn't work, if I go to 4, so that's 2 ducks and 2 rocks. We shall see another idea. I swear I just saw a bit of red, to be honest. So that's not flashing, that's just flash. Oh, hang on. Okay. A bit too quick there. Is that flashing because it got so far away? Yeah, it's flashing because it got far away. Nope. Where's the other one? Where are you? Ugh, this is a bit... Yeah, ignore the flashing. That's just because they're very small. They're like small on a pixel almost. No, I've got an idea, right? I'm gonna just go off on a limb here and just get that flashing back again. I know I should be incrementing by 1, but I wanna just remove some stuff from the push constants that I'm not even using. And I just wonder if that's gonna help. Right, so yeah, okay, cool. And I'm just gonna take this out and this out and just reduce what's in there. So these don't work, so I'm just gonna leave the buffer device address reference thing in here. I keep forgetting what it's called, forgive me. I know it's got its actual name. so going to now I have to change the push constants. Get rid of these, and that should be pretty obvious what I've changed. So scene index, which is just the instance ID anyway. Now the only reason I'm doing this is because it was never this bad, this flashing, until I started adding stuff to the shaders. So I'm just kind of curious. Nope. Nope. Okay, it's just bad. Right. Let me git stash. Let's just git stash for a minute. I just want to see if it's been this bad since I started messing with things. So there should be way less in here. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I gotta check. Yeah, okay, so I didn't add that in. The synchronization should be here. The Q wait idle thing, right? Okay, so this is what it used to be like until I started messing with things and it got worse. You see this? This is the only thing that flashes. The rest, well behaved. I think the only reason this isn't going like horrible like before is for some reason this one isn't like throwing out junk triangles like crazy. Oh, there was one. Or if it does it very infrequently, so it's really hard to measure. I wonder if I can render. You know what I might try actually? Let's try render doc on this particular version. Zoom in on this ball, right? And then we can actually see, based on like collecting 10 frames, if it ever picks up a sphere that doesn't exist, and then just see if it's like junk values. So I'm going to try that. Because in this particular case, the break is there, but it's different, right? So, and it's different in a way that might be measurable in render doc. So we're going to try that and pray that capturing 10 frames is actually going to do something. So, and I've just remembered after I do this, I need to copy over the new shaders. So, okay, I'll try that later. I've just come up with another idea, so yeah. Let's compile that and grab the shaders that have been updated because we get stashed, so the shaders are now different. Nope. Okay, paste. Right. So the release, I pray, doesn't have the spamming. It just has like one flashing sphere somewhere. No, I just gotta find it because it could be behind another one. It's always different every time. It's in a different position. You know what I should do to help myself out is I should set the seed to a fixed number, so it doesn't, so the random number generator doesn't like disappear off or something. Let's pray that actually generates random numbers. Okay, cool. So this is always going to be the same. So if I find it once, it'll be in the same place. So yeah, I've just got to investigate where this thing is. So it there should be like one broken one. This should be a game instead of find a flickering rock. Yeah, that's the game. Can you fix my broken thing by finding the flashing rock? Yeah, and I have to, unfortunately, you know what would be easier? I know it's kind of silly saying this in retrospect. We know it doesn't work with 14, so let's turn it down to 14. That would make checking literally an order of magnitude easier. Okay, where are they all? Huh. What? The heck? Nope, they all look fine. I guess we need more? Oops. The only thing I see flashing is this, but it's so... They're only flashing because they're really small. But let's just check they aren't flashing for another reason, just in case. Yeah, they're really small. Oops. Sorry. Nope. Okay, let's increase to 100. So that's easier to check, and it's still like got. There's still not that many. Okay, so that's much easier to see. Yeah, shout out if you see it. If you see a red one flashing. To me, the flashing looks like a CPU write during a GPU. Oh, read. I saw a flash on the screen. So I'm gonna have to tolerate. Hopefully, people can tolerate for a minute. So there is a flashing rock here somewhere. It's possible, yeah, that oh, it's down maybe. So one of these is bad. I'm just gonna go slow. Yeah, I think it's the same issue every single time. Where is the flashing rock? Yeah, that's what I want to investigate. You see, Ratchet, if I can see in the GP in render doc that something like the position data is all junk for some reason, because that's what it feels like. It's like occasionally it goes all junk. Oh, where is it? I thought we would see it dead easy. Maybe 100's too many, because it's just like random chance that we see it. Because the random number generator just kind of spits out the position. Oh, I feel like it's down, but it could be up. And I'm getting tricked here. Ugh. Sorry, this is a bit lackluster coding. We're just floating around a scene with red spheres. Alright, I've turned them off for a minute. Right, they're flashing on purpose. This is me. I'm pressing the off and on key. Where is this red? I don't think it's here. I think it's not flashing. I think sometimes it doesn't flash, sometimes it does, and that's yeah. If I run this again, I wonder. Oh, are you kidding me? That's why we never saw it. I had a feeling it was doing that, to be honest. Okay, so RenderDoc is going to help me, because there's an extra synchronization thing it has to do. Okay, this is for after the stream, but I posted an open Vulkan question for everyone. It's its application to in Discord. Yeah, sounds good. I will. I do have the Discord open, but I will read it probably after stream. Yeah, it's a bit. Sorry, it's a bit big message. Right, I see. That's what it does. I didn't know that. Right, of course. Okay, so if it's synchronization, we're not going to find it effectively, which is not chill. Let's do a release. Okay, so there's no point doing a release. Let's just go back to where we were. I might... What's peculiar about this in general is the fact that this doesn't happen with... This is only happening with... Okay, that's fine. The debug renderer, now I think about it. So I'm going to get the flashing to come up again, and then I'm going to disable the debug renderer. And... Oh, yeah, increase the number of rocks. Yes, thanks for reminding me. Right, okay, so... What I'm gonna fly around the scene, turn off debug rendering for a minute, and just see if we get any flashing at all. I don't think we're gonna get it, but let's just fly around the scene. I don't know what would be more egregious. Going in and out full screen, maybe. Full screen, off full screen. That was me flying through an asteroid, so that's not it. It would be more egregious. It would fill up like core of the screen or something silly. It's possible that my only issue is actually with one part of the graphics. Which is an issue with which at least yeah, let's disable everything other than the debug renderer. Let's do that. And then we know for sure where it actually is going wrong. And then we at least know where to look, in what shaders, and if we have a read after write or something like that. So this is the non-debug renderer. This is the actual scene. And now we should just see spheres. Oh, I forgot to deal with something. Oh, right. So we should see flashing at this point. Hi Pro, how you doing, dude? Good to have you here. Hope you're having a great day. We're just debugging some rendering, so I apologize if you see some flashing. Something is causing flickering, and I can't quite figure out why. So we're just flying around a scene here that should be normal, but there's some red flickering that happens every now and again. So it's a pretty tricky one to debug. And I'm just seeing if it's... So this is the debug renderer. I'm just seeing if it's in the debug renderer. Unlike the other scene that we've seen earlier. Well, with the... Yeah, we have a regular scene. I don't want to make this worse, to be honest. I don't see any flickering. Let's just zoom out so we 100% sure see. It's usually worse when you're like this. Now I think about it, so I'm gonna just fly around the square of spheres. No, I'm. Okay. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to git stash apply, because that's where the flickering is worse. I'm going to do this again. And then we're going to reorder the rendering loop. So instead of doing the... What is it called? Debug last, we're going to change the order afterwards. So git apply is going to add a bunch of stuff that we... so C needs to be changed back. And I hope that's everything. Git stash apply adds everything back in that I've been messing with, where the flickering is much worse. And we're gonna just systematically make we're just gonna reduce the amount of problem space down. So yeah, again, apologize for anyone watching. We're gonna see a bit of flickering. Right, okay. No, after it's compiled. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. There is flickering. Yeah, okay, so that's obvious. I'm also just going to increase the number back to 4,444. So we have lots of them and potentially more flickering, so it's even more obvious. And then we're going to slowly remove stuff from the rendering. So it takes a second to boot. Okay, cool. I'll obviously try to remove the flickering as soon as we see it, but I still need to make sure it's there, so apologize again. I apologize again. So anyway, let's remove the skybox and the regular rendering and see if we get flickering. Because if it is a read, we're reading after a write, it's possible that it's not even to do with the actual current pipeline that we're messing with. It's possible that we've got like a read after write between these things, and I might have to turn on the hazard checking for that type of stuff, which is pretty brutal. Oops. Global model doesn't exist. No, it does. You, where do you exist? All right. Okay, so that's just updating stuff that's not related to the render loop. Synchronization validation layers. Yeah. But I think if we reduce the amount of problem space that the problem space we have, we can like narrow down what the issue is. So we should be seeing flashing pretty aggressively and pretty soon. So I'm just going to fly around. But I think that's the case. I think, yeah, it's not even to do with, it's the individual steps. Sorry, it's the different graphics pipelines that we're switching to. And I think at that point, things are going wrong. I think, right? Oh, there's the flickering. Nope, I'm completely wrong. You see it? Yep, there it is. That is a big giveaway that it's the... Okay, so I think this is tolerable. I don't think that's like epileptic inducing. Just in case I'll be back. Okay, so what do we have? We have a... The flashing is still happening. It's, yeah, the SDK does, yeah. But what I need to turn on is the hazards, which the problem is you can have a pretty well behaved renderer and still have tons of hazards. It's like Valgrind, you know, Valgrind will print out like literally everything under the sun, and like only one thing you care about is actually necessary. But this tells me that we can at least simplify the rendering down to the actual debug renderer. The debug renderer is wrong in a particular way that I do not understand, and it's wrong with itself, right? It's not wrong because we're trying to render something else. It's wrong with its own synchronization, which is good to know. So at least we don't have to worry about the interactions of the other renders. I will disable them for now, but what we're going to try and turn on, I forgot how to do this, so I'm going to have to open up my other renderer, my other engine. You have no read after write hazards or anything like that, Ratchet? Yeah, I think we're going to get tons and tons of errors. Wrong, Visual Studios. The other engine is on an older one. Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, it could be the first and last rock. That's actually a really good idea to check. But I'm also just gonna just turn on this read after write stuff. The three checks, the three hazards that you can get for memory. And I did this in my code here somewhere. Yeah, it'll be here. In here. I commented it out. I hope the code is still here, but it should be near the top. So this is still very similar. Where is it? It should be in... I'm just gonna have to scroll a bit slowly. Because there is something you have to do to turn it on. Where is it? Or have I deleted it? I thought... No, we're in something else now. We're at transferring textures. Vulkan. Okay, so no, I think if it's either in if it's not in the header, then it's not anywhere. I thought it was here. Okay, let's try and do it for the Vulkan thingamajig. What is it called? That's actually good to know. Interesting. So it's actually got a way more reliable, this stuff. Okay, so let's keep digging. So what I want to try is the Vulkan, this thing. Excuse me. What actually? Do I have synchronization turned on? But I don't think it's being activated, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna Google this. I think it's a quick Google search away. Vulkan synchronization. Validation layers. Read/write hazards. That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, that's just gonna. The AI is just gonna tell me a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, so this is what I want to turn on. How do I turn this on? This is good to have, I think, to actually check. But I think that's what's happening. If we're going to debug this, we're going to have to turn on these features. Which, last time I checked, spammed my validator once I turned it on. Because there was so much wrong. This is this is my old engine as well. This is why I can't quite remember how to do it. I think I turned it on like once, almost like a year and a half ago to a year. Can you turn this on in the validator? And if I flick through a book, I'm just going to flick through. I know this is not very visually interesting, but I almost want to put like a DVD logo bouncing around while I just flick through this book. It won't take me too long. It's if it's in here, it'll be near. I'll spot it pretty quickly. That's fine. As long as even if that document that I had up is a design document, at least tells me stuff like this. Like right after right. Most of the time I just want to have like a simple way to debug this. Sorry, not a simple way. No, I do think I'm going to find it in there. This is... I'm just going to ask the question. How do you turn on in Vulkan? Because we're not getting them. I think I've got to turn them on in code. No. Nope. Yep, that's what I want to check, bro. I guess no one does what I do anymore with you. This is like maybe Vulkan 1.0 type stuff where you enable and disable validation layers in your actual code. I don't know if it's an actual hazard. I just need like a starting point. Alright, I'm just gonna look in the nope, that's not what I wanted. So type. Okay. How do you spell hazard? The capital letters are messing me up. Because I've got synchronization turned on, it's just like, you know, I can turn them all on. I don't think it does anything. Because I've done it in code, basically. I think. Don't match case. Go to the S. Really? Read after write. That's what I'm after, like. Dang it, bro. There's something you have to do to turn it on. Let's see. Are you just going to bear with me? Yeah, everyone uses that now. I think it might be faster to just rip this out then. Then try and find out the weird thing that you have to do. So this... So as far as I can tell, the utils function needs to be on, but what doesn't need to be on is... How do I say pick up the... I'm going to check some basic code here. Because I think I'm going to overcomplicate it. If I just look at my own code, right? So this is how, you know, it's even better. Let's actually look at the actual tutorial code. How do you turn on validation layers? You're going to tell me. In the simplest terms to a beginner. Yep, okay. I read the second paragraph. I mean the first one. I don't see what I need to remove is what. Okay, let's look at that code again. It's not going to tell me exactly. It's just going to say we use this application. Okay. But how do you say, bro, use that? And also, where's your printing utilization function? Do you just not have it at all? Check. Alright, let's just rip stuff out, I guess. Because apparently it doesn't have it in, so... What don't I want to do is... We want surface. We have no... We don't have this. We don't have this now. Do we have validation layers? Right, I've got to make a silly mistake here, otherwise I won't know. Right, let's just comment this out. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if we use this. Let's get rid of this. That we definitely use this. Create binary buffer. Came to check progress. Unfortunately, it's not a great day for progress. Okay, we do have validation though. Okay, so I've disabled validation and it's still there. Good. Okay, so it's now picking up that. We have a read-write problem, I think. Press the Windows key, type yes. But if you... VK validation enabled extension. Right, I think that's right. I think Mado's got it right there. You must have just studied that. That's the thing when you're fresh. Sometimes you just know stuff. Because it is stuff right at the beginning. Let me check the create info features structure. Which is higher than this. So our engine is broken in very specific ways. If that makes sense. Right, let's see. Vulkan. No, that's allocation. Okay, so because we turned off validation, I think we're all good. Ah, here. Oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. I already had it in. What am I doing? It's literally right there. That's literally what all I need to do is that. Okay, cool. Show the game. How much is it developed? Cool. That's what we're after. We're still on this point where we're trying to debug issues. It's still pretty much the same, unfortunately, mechanics. I think it's, yep. So yes, it's possible we have a write after read. So write after read. So we write, yeah, this is the bad error that you don't want. All you have to do is remove layers from your code and keep the messenger. It's fine. I've solved it now anyway. I knew I had it. I haven't used it in ages. Okay, so right after read, we're reading something and we're writing to it. Okay, so quick question before we start debugging. I just want to see if that's true, if it's only the debug renderer that's got that issue. So if we do, I just don't want to make any assumptions here and just be like, oh, to the debug renderer, when it's actually the whole thing that's wrong. Yeah, so because we have a read after write, for those people who don't know, this error is we write something after we're supposed to have read it. So if you imagine we're trying to read some data that the graphics card needs to understand, and we made a mistake. We've done it at the wrong time. We're reading something that's too late. We're reading it too late. That's why it's right after read, right? So we've written something when we should have read it before. You know what I mean? I said it wrong then, but you know what I mean. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so this doesn't exist now for some reason. I don't really care. I just want to see if we have the same error. And then I'm going to change the... Nope, we still do. And next thing I want to check is this even fixing it? That's the other thing. I know I'm kind of beating around the bush here with this error fix, but I kind of want to rule out some assumptions. Like, I don't want to assume that this was fixing it if it wasn't ever fixing it. So we've got to check these like things, and then we'll dive into the error. Nope. Okay, that's good to know. So everything was wrong, no matter what I was doing, and it's consistently to do with the actual loop. So this is done in a pipeline barrier, and there's only 2 pipeline barriers, so it shouldn't be that hard to debug. But I am going to restore back to our debug renderer because that is the most visually broken when it actually doesn't work. So if we fix this, maybe I'll be able to celebrate because we'll have lots of stuff done. Because I don't think it even matters what we're rendering if it's the actual loop itself, right? Okay, so I know there's probably someone in chat who's like already figured out what the error is, but let me step through the problem. Yeah, it's definitely something to do with something like that, Mado. Yeah. I've just been yeah, memed on a bit there. You know, rightly so. I've been the problem is I'm making this awkward transition from like Vulkan 1.0 type code to Vulkan 1.4 in like one big lunge. So there's mistakes that are being made. Okay. Oh, IMGUI is being used and it shouldn't be. Excuse me there. That just needs to be disabled. Yeah, basically I need to. So we'll okay, cool. Now I've done that. Let's pull this error out and actually read it properly. But the problem is, maybe in Vulkan 1.0 I never actually got this right. The thing is, I can't know for sure. It's the thing. I've improved very quickly, I think, recently, which suggests that I don't think I've ever got this right. So you're probably right there. Escape point tries to best practice challenge level impossible. Okay, so let's read this out loud. So the VK Q submit read after write has a detected VK pipeline barrier command buffer submitted on a current queue. I should probably label these if it gets messy. Write to a VK image. So we're writing to it. Yes, that makes sense. Oh, so swap change 0 image, which was previously read by We're writing. Write to a VK image which was previously read by acquire image. Previously read. Let me. This is a very. I was always terrible at this in school, so you this feels like a maths question. Well, if you read the sentence wrong, the maths, you make no sense of the maths. So give me a second for this one. Let's sink in. Write to a VK image. So swap chain image 0, which was previously acquired, previously read by VK acquire next image KHR. What? Read. That reads something? I didn't even know it reads. Okay, that's news to me. Okay, the current synchronization defines the destination stage mask as VK college output bit, but layout transition does not synchronize with these stages. Okay, Vulkan Insight. If the layout transition is done via an image barrier, consider including VK pipeline stage underscore color attachment optimal. In the source stage, if the transition occurs as part of the render pass begin operation, which is basically we can say render pass is equal to, what is it, VK dynamic rendering. That's it. Okay, consider specifying an external subpass. VK subpass external with the source stage that includes VK pipeline stage output bit, or perform transition in a separate image barrier before the render pass begins. Okay, final thing, Vulkan inside an execution barrier is sufficient to present this added. Okay, so it's just our usage of the VK image. It looks like I need to take... Okay, so let's look at the source mask of our actual thing, which is acquired. So we acquire the image. This is how we do it, right? So this is for people who are following along, or who may be like... So we acquire the image, which apparently is a read, and then we do a begin rendering transition, which is the thing I think is the issue, right? So it's saying, consider putting a VK pipeline output, blah, 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 here. Okay. According to this message. I'll just take this specifically, right? And we don't have to worry about subpass dependencies. This is just a roundabout way of writing an image, a pipeline barrier. So an image pipeline barrier. So we'll just see what that does. Okay, so we got a different error. Out of bounds access and OOB. Why was this not coming up before? Okay. That makes way more sense why everything looks like junk. Okay. Why was... I don't know. Is this part of synchronization? Is this why I never saw this? So this is exactly what I would expect to see if we're accessing a buffer device address and it's going out of range. So the buffer is 16 bytes read at buffer device address this. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say buffer device address, there is a space in memory where the data lives that we're accessing on the shader. And we access it like an array, right? With square brackets like this. Exactly like this. And what we've ended up doing is this value has got too big and we've gone past the actual point of where the memory ends. So we've actually gone out of bounds. And the GPU doesn't know that that's a mistake. It just keeps reading memory because it doesn't have any clue. But it looks like it's a once we hit vertex index 226 at instance 4, so that would be the second rock. Draw index 1. Unable to find shader source. Build shaders with debug info. Oh, okay. Maybe I should do that. Oops. Okay. Whoa. Okay, so Vulkan spec. If the physical storage buffer 64 address model is enabled, the pointer value of memory... The pointer value of a memory access instruction in the physical storage buffer storage class must refer to a buffer created with... Yeah. Okay, I don't think that's relevant. That's just telling me that if we're using this, that needs to be a buffer needs to be created with this. And it is, so... Okay, let's just check this real quick, because that would be a really easy thing to fix if that was actually the issue. Okay, so... you have a source mask and destination. Yes, I think we solved that issue now. I think we're pretty good. I looked out when I decided to move to Vulkan 1.3. I had implemented too much stuff. Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Is it because the image also needs barriers, not just a pipeline? Never mind, I'm an idiot. I've been too long touched. Okay, synchronization. For some reason I thought image barriers were separate function calls. No, they're just different. Yeah, that's exactly right. This is why you enable all validation. Move it from the destination mask. Yeah, I think you're right. I think from now on I'm never ever turning off synchronization, validation checking. I don't know why it was ever not disabled. I think when I originally coded this, which is the foundational layer at least, there was so many of these errors I had to disable, and I had to comment it out because it air quotes worked on my computer. It didn't. I just had undefined behavior and I didn't know about it. Or I just ignored it, which was bad. I think that was like 2.5 years ago, or 2.5 years ago to like 2 years and 3 months at this point. So I'm trying to do better now. Anyway, so I'm tempted to compile the shaders in debug mode with debug info. Just to get this error message to a bit more clear. Okay, so let's just... Okay, so the first thing I should check is if I render 4 things, or if I render 3, do I get the same error? That'd be good to know. No, that's... Okay, yeah, ignore that. That's just something I can easily fix. But if I go to 4, right? We get problems. Do you That's funny that. I got myself an idiot. News that you're exactly right. No, I'm just going to keep increasing and just see how this degrades one at a time. Yeah, I'm... Oh, okay, we're getting repeating music. Brilliant. Okay, so... For some reason, when 5 entities come into the play, so that would be 3 rocks and 2 ducks, we end up getting this error. Okay, let's just see the buffer device address stuff, and not that, this, and we'll fix the playlist. So the music started to repeat itself. Let me just fix that. Shuffle on. And go next. So hopefully that's fixed. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. What do I need to do then? So it's the last rock that's broken at 5. And that is because of something I don't know. So what's the... Let's put a breakpoint in here and just examine the value. So it's index 4, so there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me so it should break after this point. No, this is not going to break now. It has to hit the Q submit, because it's not like commands are executed immediately. That's just not how Vulkan works. But I do want to see what we end up drawing. Interesting. So that goes from 0 to watch. Is there a way to see? Let's just grab this and add watch. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay. Which is kind of awkward. Right, I'm just going to add some code in so I can actually see this value. Oops, sorry, pressed the wrong key. And I didn't copy and paste anything. Okay. Right, put that there. Uint 32 count of model. So it's possible that we're exceeding on the hang on, I have to put this here because this is what we're guarding against, this index, so overflow of an array. So let's say +1. Okay, equals. Okay, and I'm gonna put a still delete the breakpoints and put this here. Okay. No, I don't. I haven't. Yeah, like I said, it's been a bad habit of mine turning that off. EO are some tough ass video games. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, sorry, not just for the faint. No, they're definitely not. Yeah, Eternity Odyssey. They will kick your butt. 5. Okay. So when we go in here, we're into 5. 5. Huh. And that bit. Oh, interesting. Okay. Is it still 5? 5. Oh, that's true. They're all spheres. Of course, that we'd never even touch this. Idiot. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is just... Yeah, they're all spheres. Okay, so if I do that again, 1, 2. Okay, I think I misclicked. Let me do that again. So 0, first time, second time, interesting. Right, I'm gonna see if we can compile our shaders in debug mode just to see if we can get more information about what particular is causing this issue, or in particular is causing this issue. So debug info validation. What is this called? It's called C. Nope. There we go. So I'm using this. I don't know if I could just look up the manual. GLSL slang VH. I'm sure it's just like D or something. So I'm sure it's just like findable. Alright, cool. Yep, not HLSL. Disable optimizations. No, you want debug info compile bin. Generate debug info. Yes, G. Perfect. So let's go on our CMake and go down to our thingy and see what we can glean from a slightly generated debug info, right? So rebuild. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I hate that. Yeah. Would you like to dox yourself so you can so I can show you the weather? Alright, cool. Looks like they all worked. Now, cool, fantastic. It's color? Are you kidding me? The color is causing this to happen? You see that? Like, this is a completely redundant check anyway, because I don't really care. This is just to test something. Oh no, that's a lie. This is in the debug renderer. I do actually need the color. I'm gonna just check that doesn't happen more than once, right? Is it always color? Or is it just like in general? Okay, so it's color again. And then one more time, I think we're pretty certain that it's color. Why? Model position. So that is this line here. Does this model position even have it in? I'm just going to confirm a bunch of like basics here. Okay, so this goes in here. Model positions S, and it has. Ooh, I wonder if it's something to do with the padding. Okay, let's get rid of the padding because I'm kind of curious now. Obviously, I've got to now get rid of it on the other side. So, one moment. I wonder if it's like never worked, right? This has never worked, and the padding just kind of made it look like it worked, right? No. Okay, so this has never worked, I think. And the padding just kind of hacks it together. Okay, so we're out of bounds, 16 bytes. Ah, that's why, okay. This is why we needed the padding, have you noticed? 16 bytes read at... Oh my goodness, the padding, right? What was the padding? Did you see that? Float 4 times, which is 4 times 4. 16. So the padding accounts for this out of bounds access read, and like adds a random amount of data. So we read into junk data and we just keep going as if nothing was wrong. Right. Yeah, this has always been there, and I fixed it, not knowing that I air quotes fixed it. I put duct tape over the broken engine and called it a day, kind of thing. Right, okay, now it's kind of interesting because it's like, it's the bottom of the array that we're indexing over that's not good. Now for the buffer advice address, what's going to make it work in a way that... Again, this is probably bad here as well. But one thing at a time, right? So vColor just means varying, which is old GLSL speak for an out variable. That's what the V means. So when I'm passing a oops, not that. So when I'm passing color from this array, this is a big long array, right? Access that just gets a value. I'm going from an in variable, which we got in from things, which is currently not working, to out, which is here, right? And this very simply just goes into the fragment shader. Oh yeah, I need to refix this, and just basically sets the color. This is actually so it comes in as V color and then out as it's just a naming convention, but it comes from varying, which back in the day in was called varying, like this, like that, right? But no one uses that anymore. That's like GLSL in and out was introduced in like GLSL, like OpenGL 3.3, I think, or something like that. So it's been in and out for a long time. You can still use varying, but it's like I'm not entirely sure if it works with newer stuff. So if you were working with GLSL version 460 or 4.6, you should just use in and out. It's the new standard. Varying might become deprecated one day. I have no clue, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it also helps so I can call anything like color, you know, generic color. And I'm never going to call something V color. And you can see it all here more. Anyway, yeah, great question. Right, okay, let's figure out what's going on. How we are overwriting. We are out of bounds. We have out of bounds access of 16 bytes. How do we do 16 bytes less? The buffer device address setup, maybe? I am kind of curious. Give me a second. If I just get rid of the color and just set this to a value of 1.0, because I'm not entirely sure if it's the actual color itself or something else, right? So it could be like the setup. So if I get rid of this, get rid of color, I have a feeling we're still going to get bad errors, but that's the point of testing this. I want to see if, you know, does this work by itself? That's the question I have. So get rid of this, and we'll go okay. What ends up coming out? Oh, didn't quite get that right. 68 is bad. Oh, is it a vec3? What is this? Oh yeah, you can't do that. That's C++. I'm running C++ and GLSL. Right, okay, let's do that again. And what was the error this time? Color, okay, that's fine. I want to get rid of color and get rid of color in different places. And I think that's it. Yeah, we don't care about that. Whatever that's complaining about. I'm done with Oprah. Moving to Brave. Okay, you see that? Right. It's not... Interestingly enough, it's 64 bytes now. Which is the size of a matrix. So that would be 4 times 4 times 4. So a float is 4 bytes, a vector is 4 floats, and a matrix is 4 vectors. So 4 times 4 times 4. So that's what it's telling me there. So that is good indication that it doesn't matter what I have in this buffer device address, it's just not set up properly at all, right? It's not the actual data members. Okay, that's good to know. So we're gonna go back, add color back in, and then we're gonna assume it isn't the 16 bytes now, because we know that's not true. We're just gonna actually look at the fundamental setup of buffer device addresses. Maybe even do this alignment, mess around with alignment and stuff. So okay. It's good. Good. The more info, the better. Yeah, I've been on Firefox for ages. I think I went Internet Explorer, Google Chrome briefly, and then for Firefox since one of my friends when I was 16 said it was cool. I haven't looked back since. And that was many years ago. Okay, so yes, we need to add the color back in. That's what I was looking for, and the main color here, and then we're good. Okay. Oh, you don't have it either. I know you do. Don't you have it? Okay. That's just IntelliSense. Being IntelliSense. Give that a build. I think you can have source mask and destination mask the same. Does that cause the problem? No, it's nothing to do with the pipeline barrier at the moment. It's to do with how the index... So when we access the shader, we're basically saying, okay, based on this pointer, which is here, we dereference that pointer. It's a bit ugly, but we get to this, right? So we basically dereference that pointer with a dot, and that gets us to here. But this is an array, right? So we index into that based on the instance, and that has to move in a set chunk amount of space, right? So if we have, I don't know, let's just say 4 bytes, we have to move in 4 byte chunks each time, and we're not moving in the right amount of chunks to get all the data. And it looks like we're moving too much. We're either completely corrupted, where we're moving too little, and we're kind of just going wrong, or we're moving too big. Either way, basically immediately it's going wrong. Let's go to this. Yes, we don't need this anymore. And it's nothing to do with instancing, it's not to do with memory barriers, it's to do with buffer device address, which is to do with a buffer creations type stuff. So I think, hopefully, every single buffer device address I've set up is completely wrong, which means it's kind of broken in one place. So, which would be nice. And I'm going to, again, refer to this example code that I keep looking at. Because in theory, we are doing it so wrong that it's going to be obvious, basically. That's my hope, anyway. That's my hope. Like, oh, you didn't do the offset properly. You set it to 0 instead of the size of the struct. That's what I'm going to look for. Right, okay, so we start off here. The size is this. Okay. So when we create the buffer, what do we do? Oops. Let's go to. I want to keep that there. So let's put this here. Pin it and get our device creation stuff. Pin that. Okay. So it should be for the buffer creation struct that we set the size to this. Okay, so we have one buffer device address right now, and I think it's going to be easier if we just kind of cheat. No, I don't have to cheat. I can just go into our thing and just see if the size is set. Okay. This might be really simple then. I might be setting the size to 1. Which would definitely cause an issue. Okay, so there's no interface for it. Okay, this is looking promising. Because what I want to do, this would be a lovely fix if this was it. It would be, I need to give myself a swirly or something after the stream, because this is such an idiot mistake. But if this size is not set to the right size, when I'm creating this, oh, hang on, this is the wrong buffer. Okay, this actually should be set here. Let me see. Okay, so size is set, right? So for this buffer device, which one are we caring about? I think it's this one, right? Okay, so the question is, when I do this with toe colliders, what is this? Ah, right? That should work. Yep. Fixed it. I set the size wrong. Fixed it. Fixed that particular buffer, right? So we're not out of the woods yet. But that now is the size of the buffer was wrong. Basically, I was setting the wrong variable multiplied by the data thing. How many buffers do you? How many buffers do we have? We have quite a few. But now we've got to make sure that everything kind of works for the different types of buffers. So I'm going to slowly increment things back up. Let's send this to 4,404. So let's see. How does that work? Are you happy with that? Buffer device address? Huh. Yo, new game. I've seen this before. This means the shaders are not up to date typically. This particular type of error. I don't know why that would be the case, but Yeah. I don't know why that would be the case. Let's see. So total entities, which is now 4,404. Let's take... I think these should be the same size, but hang on, it doesn't really matter. Actually, I could take... the debug thing. This is just going to improve this for a minute. Okay, that's better. That's better. That's not going to fix the issue, but yeah, but no hazards exactly. No validation, no hazards. Cool. Okay, so I know it seems funny, but that's actually progress. Because this is what I would want to see it break. You know what I mean? I want to see it break in a very specific and obvious way. This is something that RenderDoc will help us with. But I feel like it's the shader's just not working. I'm going to get rid of this for a minute and just recompile them all. I did read something about this. It did say like capital, some kind of like, if you want them in Vulkan mode, compile them this way. I'm kind of curious now. When I was reading this earlier. Alright, yeah, so let's just compile. Oh, okay. We do have all the validation turned on, but let me read through this. This is kind of interesting. So I saw something about this has to be Vulkan or something, because there's lots of stuff for HLSL specifically. So B version. Do I do that? Creates a spine under Vulkan syntax. Turns -L. Okay. What's the ver mean? Does that okay? File is stage dot spiv 0. Oh, so that overrides this. Presents the version of the input. Oh, okay. So this is just. Alright, this is not that useful. This is just like setting the version in Vulkan terms. Okay. Nothing that interesting. Thanks. Yes, got it. The question is now, why are we so busted? Right, let's take a step back. Good. Let's do 10. Does it all completely fall apart? So this, the colors also suggest that it's like everything's broken, right? Interesting. Wait, I thought it worked earlier, right? When it was on 5, I saw something. I didn't check. I did see the sphere. Okay, there's the sphere. There's the sphere. Ooh, okay, so no, this never worked. So now I'm kind of curious. Is the buffer size not... Okay, let me check something. This is going to be like a funny check if it doesn't work. So maybe I'm not understanding this buffer device address stuff at all, right? Maybe the size is supposed to be the size of the struct, right? Not the size of the total array. I don't know. Okay, no. Out of bounds. Same type of error. No. Okay, so I think that is also the same error as before as saying it's 1, right? No, yeah. Okay, let's see what to check. Let's simplify the shaders. I think that's the next step. So we need to get rid of this and give me a minute. This might be a really simple fix. Okay, that's just an idea, right? I doubt that's gonna fix it, but if it does, that'd be really cool. Nope. Whoa, that's weird. It's a very avant-garde video game. Weird. No hazards. No read after write. No validation errors. The shader is probably completely destroyed. Okay, so model. Let's go to that. Hi Joe. How you doing? We got some horrendous rendering problems for you to enjoy. Yeah. I'm going to get rid of the buffer alignment as well, just in case. I'm trying to do something stupid. Render looks fine to me, yep. Vulkan on Sandy Bridge, yep. It's totally normal if you want it to look completely insane. And, yeah. Okay, so why is it changing colors? Should you bring it back? Should you bring back the pad? I'm thinking that, but I'm trying not to, because that was a fix for a mistake that didn't make any sense. So this could suggest a view. Okay. Let's get rid of literally everything, right? Including that. So this is like the view projection and that. Okay. Okay, so there we go. That's normal, right? We have a normal sphere. Oh no, wait. I just saw a green flash. You see, oh, there it is. What is that? Okay, let me fix something else then. Attempt to fix something else. Oh no, wait, this is the debug renderer. Okay, let's get rid of the color. Make it all the same color. Are you trying without the cube example? Joe, are you talking about the Vulkan demo cube? Is that what you're talking about? What I've done, Joe, just so I fill you in a little bit, I fixed a mistake once I turned on the synchronization validation layers in Vulkan. If you know what those are, they just check between, you know, making sure that the CPU and GPU. So yeah, that should work. There's no. Let me just to show you. And because I've changed the shaders, it's broken the shaders completely, as if the shaders are not even the same shaders, if that makes sense. But I will run that cube anyway, so you can see Vulkan cube, I think it's called. or something like that anyway. Where is the cube? This should be here, right? Let's sort by application. There it is. There it is, right? Yeah. So we've got like you got like a standard cube that runs normally in the Vulkan SDK, and ours looks like junk. So it's not like our graphics card driver or something like that. It's a good thing to think about, but it's to do with our buffer device address accessing data that's junk for some reason. And I'm just trying to make sure if it's alignment or something like that. Okay. There should be a yellow sphere inside here. Oh. Or not. No, we're still getting junk. You see that? Yep. Go out far enough and you see it. Okay, so what would that be then? Okay, let's change a couple of things then. We can do this. This is a simple change that we can easily add. So comment this out for a minute, and we're gonna add a view projection in like this, and we're gonna index into that. Call this view projection now, and we're gonna make our buffer just allocate a load of them. So unless I see a pad when it shouldn't, then there shouldn't be a pad. No, there's nothing. Okay, cool. We're just going to go back to basics, and we're going to comment out everything, and we're going to see if the view projection matrix is coming in through. It's coming through in a way that makes sense. You're an Intel hardware 3000, by the way. It does 10.1 and OpenGL 3.1. Wow, really? It's that old? Holy. That's an old Intel piece of hardware, that. Oh, the Intel HD, right. 3000. Is that like, is that one of those like US, what are they called? USB. There we go. I literally forgot what it's called. USB. Yo, Shadow. How you doing, dude? Hope you're having a great day. Currently debugging things. Things are more broken than I expected. GPUs. Oh, okay. Integrated GPUs. Okay. Right. I assume that's what you mean, right? Integrated GPU. This is very interesting. No wonder it's been so difficult to add things to our shaders when the render has been this fragile. Let me just check as well. I just had a paranoia check. If I look at my push constants, have I not? Okay, vertex is top. Okay, vertex data is top. Okay, cool. Oof. I thought I made a mistake in a simple way. Okay, so things didn't compile. Oh yeah, okay. So these don't exist now. And that's it, I think. What's the error? Tons. The error is probably to do with the buffer device address accessing. So as you can see here, we are completely chilling, but as soon as we add other data types into this buffer device address, we end up with errors out the wazoo. And I don't think we'll be able to see anything on the inside. We should be able to see a second sphere, but So the view projection matrix is correct when it comes in and b's multiplied. Okay, so let's add in another one. Let's add these things in one at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make another struct here. Pos for now. I'm just going to make this exactly the same. Oops. And then we're going to add in color, and then we're going to add in other things. And we're just going to see where it goes wrong. Because it completely falls apart at some point, so we can debug that. So model position. Now we just want to go back to what we did earlier, which was model position dot view projection. And that should be the same. There shouldn't be any issue here. There should be a sphere in the same place, nothing crazy. Zoom out, it shouldn't go all glitchy. Zoom in, it should zoom in the other way. Do this with the camera. Right, cool. I'm pretty satisfied, that's fine. Next is to add in the model, right? So the model's the position of the actual model. And I just want to see, based on that alone, does that start to break? What are we making? We're making a game, but unfortunately, yes, Red, we are in the middle of debugging things, and right now there is basically nothing on the screen apart from a sphere, and we're trying to make that sphere appear on the screen without any glitches. So we've got lots of graphics corruption. This eventually will be a little game that I'm going to put online for people to play, but for now it is broken in a way that's hard to debug, so we're going through things step by step. And yeah, thanks for joining us, Meh. Hope you're having a great day, dude. So we need to go to this struct definition and bring back the model and just see if that completely breaks everything, right? Oh, we also need to add in the multiplication. And then we need to investigate why this breaks. So, model. I forgot to add this in. That should be. Oops. Got this model position, didn't I? We know this is broken. Oh no, it's fine. That's the thing that needs to change. Let's run this and see what happens. Sheesh, nice. Good luck. Thank you. We fixed a major issue and then all of a sudden we got like lots more issues. I'm zooming out, I'm zooming out, I'm zooming out. There's nothing here. Okay. Interesting. Oh, I know why. We're assigning a model to nothing, right? I didn't go into the scene and actually give a model actual piece of data, right? So we should see the same red sphere in the same place. There's no. That's a lie, actually. We should see it in two different places. Okay. Is that just the far plane, or is that something else? That's the far plane. Okay. So is there any other spheres? There should be more than just one. Interesting. This doesn't seem right. I don't know why it's in a different place. The position shouldn't have changed. I'm just looking inside. Nope. There should be a little version, but I don't know. Okay, so let's add the position in and see if that changes things. So maybe I should have done the position first, but so the position, which is there. Position here, And let's go into the shader, multiply the position, which should be the last thing we do. Yep. Outside of the vertices, which is the actual last thing we do. And we should see now spheres in different places. And if we see that, then we're going in the right direction. Things are starting to work. Okay, so model position, and now we need to change the struct itself again. There it is, and finally the position, which is this one. Okay. I'm about to go and swap one of my projects to Clang after being rage baited by MSVC for being annoyingly vague. Yes, MSVC is typically pretty terrible, that kind of stuff. I know what's happening. Okay, so the reason this is here, it's because it's scaled up to massive. I'm gonna have to do something real quick. Yeah, I'm almost tempted to do the same myself. Change compiler for sure, because MSVC is so annoying. I have to, at the very least, I go on Linux and compile in GCC to get rid of all the compilation issues. So I hope you're having a good day, by the way, Relics. Thank you for joining us. Right. So what do I want to do? I want to increase the far plane by a crazy amount, just by an order of magnitude, so I can see everything. I'm sure the precision is going to go. You're doing decent, brilliant. I'm sure the precision is going to be terrible, but I don't really care. I just want to see everything. If anything exists. Nope. We just have a big sphere the size of... I'm confused. We should be seeing corruption, but we don't see any of it. It's fine. We'll just keep going. Let's add color in, which should change the color. That's why we can't see anything, because one of them should be... Yeah. Okay, so a lot of this is me being surprised that I can't see anything other than red. How is that even possible when I've set the colors always to be red? Yes, escape points. Brilliant observation there. That everything's red because I set it to red. That is why things are red. Okay, so let's go into our shader and delete this, and hopefully we see some yellow. Oh, and we need to... That was a bit quick on that one. Let's go to main. I'll start the music. The music has stopped. Not that. Yes. Nice. Okay. Final bit. The thing that we're going to do. I think we're very close to getting this working properly. We just need to add the color. Okay, so the color's back in. Go to main. And do this. And after this, we'll see. I finished my refractive CMake, by the way. Ended up taking almost... Wow. Nice work, dude. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to call it here. I'm going to give you a link to my Discord. If anyone wants to join, you can, as long as you're chill. It's at the bottom. Thank you for all joining me. You've been fantastic, every single one of you. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for keeping me company. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for anyone who's commented, subscribed, liked, all that stuff. Thank you very much. I will keep working on this. So yeah. Here's the second time I've catch you live. Right. Watched a few VODs. Fantastic. Thank you very much for watching my VODs. I will see you all soon. I hope to yeah, I hope everyone else has a great afternoon too, and I hope you have the rest fantastic day. Hopefully I'll fix this, and I'll see you with a fixed renderer. Anyway, I shall see you all soon. Thank you.